All right, welcome back to another episode of Bears Film Room. We have a really fun Saturday morning edition for you. We're going to go ahead and preview the Bears versus Giants. Of course, talk a little bit about the trade deadline. We did not go live as there wasn't really any moves. And believe it or not, it looks like Ryan Poles was saved from making perhaps a big one. Who knows if it would have been bad or not, but that's a really cool nugget that we're going to get to about Ben Johnson and their conversations kind of behind doors at Hollis. So again, thank you for joining another episode of Bears Film Room. Join my good friend Ficky. Of course, I'm Dave. Both cover the Bears for SM. Our socials are on the screen. You can find us anywhere, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Just go ahead and give us a follow. So, Fick, before we hop in, sir, how are we doing, man? How are we doing on Saturday?
It's good. Good Saturday. We got some good college football games today. Then obviously the Bears play tomorrow. So I think it's good. It's been a good week. Nothing too crazy. Getting a little bit colder, so I'm not too excited about that. And I saw your post on Instagram where it's like what was it? Jim from The Office with the hands in his face because it gets dark at 5 p.m. Like I came out of the gym yesterday and it felt like it was midnight and it was only 6:30. So that hasn't been great. But other than that, things are looking fun. How about you?
Yeah, I'm ready for tomorrow. Opportunity at 6-3 for Chicago. Connor Bedard's been playing really well. The Blackhawks, Bulls kind of coasted too. So I can't complain. Drinking some Even coffee right now. So again, check them out. Use code BFR for $5 off. Again, Even Coffee supports a great cause, Chicagoland Coffee Shop, along with supports mental health. So really a great cause for both. Support Chicago, and on top of that, you can get their single serve cups, and you can, like I said, really tasty, and just it's kind of been a staple for my morning. So check them out. We appreciate their partnership, and yeah, like I said, I really can't complain. It's been beautiful. We might get some snow, I guess, for tomorrow's Bears game. Are you serious?
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. So already. Kind of. I mean, I think the snow is going to be gone for noon. However, it's going to be really windy in Chicago, and we'll kind of get to the game preview here in a little bit. But I wanted to start with just the trade deadline. We didn't go live or have an episode in regards to it just because there wasn't really a big enough news. And no offense to what's his name,
Tyron
from Cleveland.
Yeah, Joe Tyron.
Yeah, JTC or whatever they're calling him. And I really liked his press conference as well. Just excited for the fresh start, excited to be part of the Bears, and it looks like there's something special brewing there. So I like that, and I appreciate it. But the biggest story coming out of this one was during the media session with Poles, and it wasn't streamed. He just with the local media, and he admitted during his recent interview that the Bears that a big reason for Chicago's measured approach was Ben Johnson's insistence. Apparently, he had to talk Poles out of making any big moves, believing the smarter approach was keeping those high draft picks to continue adding young talent, building the draft, something he said that they were going to do. But he has been very, aggressive in past. You saw the Montez Sweat here. I know people don't like it, but bringing up Chase Claypool, yep. He's not been afraid to just be aggressive. Sounds like that song, Be Aggressive. Is that a song?
Yeah,
it's something.
Yeah. No, it's a cheer, in it. Be aggressive. Be.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm cheering on that right now. I want to read the quote though from Poles on I think this was Wednesday morning. So the day after the trade deadline, he goes, I think they've closed a pretty big gap with this new staff. So that gets me even more excited and gets Ben excited to watch our coaches work with these young players that we draft, that are young now, that we draft in the future, to have a big role on our team. A lot of times you get into these moments and you get tunnel vision about right now. What do I need? Poles said his ability to see short term, and he's speaking about Ben Johnson here, and long term for us to be able to have those conversations as a front office person. Really awesome to have. Keeps him in check. Not only him, but also defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, who has been in that head coaching chair to see the big picture and how we want to build this football team. They have a really good understanding of it, which is good. Talking about the long term. So it's just I'm going to pass it over to you because I have some real thoughts. I feel like it's very unique because I would say it's typically the coaches that are a little bit more aggressive, right? They want to win now. They want these players, and it's the GM that is hey, I got to see the big picture. And with Poles, I do like that he is aggressive at times. And I wouldn't say he's like Ryan Pace aggressive.
No.
But there's been opportunities, or there's been at times in the past where he has been very similar to Pace. And so I just think it's cool that the coaches are in tandem, kind of keeping him in check. And I'm curious to see what this big move could have been. I bet it was the Jets. They're
for
that player?
Quinnen Williams?
No, not Quinnen. The other. They were wanting a second rounder.
Yeah,
Jermaine Johnson. Mm-hmm. I think that was the one. I don't think they're perhaps going after Quinnen. I know they said they explored everything like Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. But I think that this is just it is interesting. I think Ben Johnson, he understands the importance of building through the draft. And I think Poles, obviously, he said that's what they're going to do. So for them to keep and stick by this, of course, I would have loved a move, right? Maybe one or two more. But with everything that's going on with the cap, their draft capital next year, holding on to a lot of that, right, is important. And I'm excited. And we're not talking about the draft, which is so funny. I think I tweeted it earlier or maybe last week, that we would typically be having draft shows right now. But instead, we're 5-3, have an opportunity to go 6-3. But what are your thoughts overall on this deadline, this piece of information that came out in regards to the dynamic and behind the scenes at Hallis?
Yeah, a couple things. Let's first answer your question about how do I feel about, the GM kind of being a little conservative. I think that's fine, right? One thing I'll say that's different from Ryan Pace and Ryan Poles is Ryan Poles has never traded away a first rounder. We know Pace gave away 3 for Khalil, 2, right? 2 maybe. So that's like a big thing that kind of puts him behind the mark. I don't know if it's behind the mark, but definitely shows him as being a little more conservative. And I'm happy for that. The first rounders so far, if you look at them, Caleb, Rome, Darnell Wright, all 3 hits in my book. So giving up those first rounders is a big deal for me. So I'm glad he hasn't made some type of blockbuster trade, sacrificing and mortgaging the future like that. He has done the second rounders. Some of them paid off, some of them not, but that's okay. So I'm okay with him looking big picture. What helps with that is that he has a contract extension and he's aligned to the same timeline as the coach, so they can step back and look big picture because they know they're in lockstep moving forward. It's not one person worrying about, well, I may not have my job next year, while the other person's like, well, I'm going to, so I have the luxury to look that far ahead while you do not. So that's why they did that, and I'm happy that they did that just from that standpoint, because they can be aligned and not make rash decisions, which is good.
I think you're right. And being in year one, and I'll let you keep going, Fick, but being in year one, it's a great point. If this was year 2, 3, 4, I think it's a different story. Year one, it's like a little bit more measure. Can Ben be this calculated in year 3, where this team should be like hopefully buying for something like a Super Bowl? I'm not saying the Bears can't make noise this year, but if it's year 3 and they think they're a player away, are they still going to be like, okay, not get overpriced, right? A trade deadline gouge as far as like, it's going to cost you 2 firsts or something crazy for a player, where sometimes if you are a little bit more measured and you're not going to go past, you're not going to be pushed to your limit. Like, okay, I'm not comfortable giving up a first and a second, but to stay with that first, sometimes it's hard to do, especially when you have a team that is maybe we're 5-3 now. You could be maybe 7-1 at the deadline. Might might feel like you might get a little bit more excited about putting all your chips in, right? In regards to like your draft capital.
Yeah, no, that's smart. But also, there's a team that you can learn from, where sometimes you may think you were the team that's ready. In reality, you were not, because this, it's a year by year situation. You look at the Washington Commanders, went to the NFC title game. You think, oh, look, they're ready to go. They make 2 major trades in the offseason, Debo and Laramie Tunsil. And now look at him, right? I know obviously JD5's injury plays a big part of that, because he's been in and out most of the season. But even when he's in, they've lost some games when they really shouldn't have. And now you look at the roster, shout out to our friend Josh Taylor, who covers the team, but he was like, the roster's just not good enough. We need to be sellers now. So you can see how quickly that can all change. Maybe if the Commanders played it a little bit, thinking more big picture and didn't go all in after 1 year, your first year quarterback, maybe they wouldn't be in the situation they're in. So I think the alignment and knowing that the stove's not hot, right? Your seat's not hot. Neither of them are going to get fired. You can sit back and go, look, everything we win now is just extra, right? This is all extra.
Yeah.
No one expects us to be 5-3. So we don't have to be like, oh, it's a Super Bowl run. But year 3, let's say by the deadline, they're 6-2, right? Or whatever it is, 5-3. Yeah, 6-2. And there may be 1 or 2 players away. Like there's not like a unit that's a glaring weakness, but there's definitely some spots you're like, oh, if we could get just something in here, maybe they make, they're a little bit more aggressive on that end. And that could be the case. Yeah. But it's definitely,
I think it's rare
situation.
I think it's rare to get like a Micah Parsons, a Max Crosby. And I think those are the only players where you're giving up like elite capital, premium capital. And for me, Jermaine Johnson in a second, I'm cool to wait. Sure, probably there would have been an impact. You would have felt it probably. But at the end of the day, I like drafting young players, especially if Caleb's the guy and you got to pay him in a few years to be able to maximize the young talent, cheap value, right? Edge rushers, getting those guys on those rookie contracts are so important. And I think the Bears have done a good job. You look at Colston Loveland, I'm sure it didn't ignite right away. But I mean, you saw last week where you have this guy, a tight end, who's not supposed to be running some of these routes. He's running like a wide receiver. He's a mismatch. And you saw it I'm sure he had the game-winning touchdown, but there was other routes that were like the touchdown one where it's a simple slant, but he's just a big guy. Should not be able to move like that. But that's the talent right there. And you have him for four years on a rookie deal. And so to keep those first rounders are huge. Keep the second rounders important. And like I said, it's not always guaranteed. Chase Claypool he was actually at the time that was praised, to get a receiver for Justin like that. Some people were a little, worried about the issues, that he had maturity. But at the end of the day, I would say 90% loved the trade. Montez Sweat, everyone loved the trade. Now he's really picking up steam, and I'm not taking credit for it, but I remember when he got his first sack, 3-4 weeks ago, we're like, hey, if he can put a couple more, string like a sack a game 4 times in a row, we're looking at a different type of stat line here where I think he's at 4 sacks on the year. He's kind of starting to heat up. But even then, there's been some spots, I would say a huge stretch, about 16-game stretch, where you're like, this is not looking great for Chicago. And so those are the risks that you take when you try to acquire a guy at the deadline. Sauce Gardner, I love him as a player. 2 firsts for a corner, and you gave up a receiver. Was it Pierce?
No, Pierce State. You gave up
the guy that dropped the
Adonai
ball.
Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell.
On the end zone. But that's a lot, and it could pay off. I love Sauce Gardner, but it's like for me, I love first-round picks. I love building through the draft, and so I'm a little more selfish, and it's hard for me to kind of go through a different point of view because I think getting young talent through the draft is just one of the best ways to kind of for sustainable success. You look at Washington. You talked about it, Fick. They're old, man.
Yeah,
they're old. They're going to have to turn over that roster probably, if not next year, and maybe probably the following year, where they're going to have to bring in an influx, cut some players. Like I think they acquired Deebo Samuel, right? He's older. I don't know how much he has left in the tank. You look at their tight end, Zach Ertz. It's just they have some older players, and I think they're one of the older teams, like as far as average age on the roster.
I think they're the oldest.
So, man, if it's crazy. And you look at Chicago, they're one of the younger teams, right? So you look at Green Bay, who I know we don't like them, but they do it right, and they're the youngest team in the NFL. So,
well, look, ideally, and Pohl said it when he came here. Well, he may not have lived up to the hype just yet, but if you want to win, you build through the draft, like you said, cheaper contracts. Okay, you don't give up capital for it. The most you can give up is that selection of your pick, right? You're not giving up multiples for a player, and there's less risk, okay, because of the capital that is tied to it. If Sauce Gardner doesn't work out, you didn't just lose out on, not having a great corner. You lost out on not having a great corner. You lost out on the money that he just signed an extension, 130 something or something like that, giant extension this offseason. So you're losing out on that type of money, which affects your cap. And third, you gave up draft capital as well. So it's not just, this player didn't turn out to be good. It's like, no, you also probably tied money into it and tied draft picks as well. So the best way is always to just draft your guy. Easier said than done. That's what makes it fun. But easier said than done. That's what
Sauce contract, actually not bad. Especially in about 2 years. Like if he goes and he plays at a high level, I mean, it's gonna look like a steal.
Again, that's that risk. And I'm not saying that Sauce isn't. I still think Sauce at his worst day is a top 10 corner. I'm not
2 first though for a corner is crazy.
But
you tell me you can get that for Jaylon Johnson?
That's what I'm saying. But that's the thing though, right? They said
I want him to come back this year. But I'm just saying, if you tell me someone offered 2 firsts for Jaylon,
would be nice.
I'm taking it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm taking it. I hate to say it, but I am. His health issues, of course, are a big thing. When he's out there, he's an all-pro. But I think if you can get 2 firsts for a guy like for a corner, I like my chances at replacing him and then also getting another top player, elite prospect. So
problem is, I don't think you'd probably get 2 firsts. I know this is all hypothetical, but Jalen's a little bit older.
I'm just
a little bit older.
And Sauce is I think he's a better. It's weird because Jaylon, when he's healthy,
dude, Jalen's a better player. I would say that over the past
overall
2 seasons,
and he's a better man corner in my opinion. And I think that's Sauce's game, right? He's kind of like a man-to-man corner, but I think Jaylon is one of the best in the league when he's here. But I'm not saying like I'm just.
No, I get you the hypothetical.
2 firsts, I would be hard for me to turn that down.
For sure, that you're giving up a lot for that. I mean, there's a risk on your side as well. Most times, the trade typically favors the person. Actually, a lot of times, history will show that the trade actually doesn't work for either sides because what happens is the player that's traded away doesn't live up to the hype. Doesn't mean they're not good, but they don't live up to the hype. And then a lot of times, the picks that the other team requires, they end up missing on them. So think of like actually good examples. The Bears. You look at the Khalil Mack trade. Khalil Mack was good. You know, he had a great season and then a lot of good seasons. Okay. So did he make the team better? Yes. But what we gave
he
up.
He still played at a high level when he left, which is hilarious. I thought he was
almost
done.
Played higher at Chargers. He had the 16 sack season. But so we had a great season, a couple good seasons. And I would say that didn't live up to the draft capital we gave up. But the Raiders literally got nothing out of the picks they used. Josh Jacobs was their best pick, and they didn't even re-sign him. So it's kind of funny how it's like, will these work out? And a lot of times they don't. Like, we'll see Micah Parsons. I think that one probably work out more for the Packers, but they also gave up 2 firsts, and we'll see what Dallas does with those. So it's just interesting. It's a very big
with Micah
risky play.
It reminds me of Jordan Love because Mike is pretty awesome, and he can single-handedly shut down a drive. But when you got Jordan Love, where he's kind of inconsistent last week, you saw some of the worst throws you'll see from a quarterback all season last week out of Green Bay. So it's almost like I'm not saying Jordan Love's Mitch Trubisky. That's not the case. But if Jordan isn't ready to win and you made that win now move.
What the Bears did.
You can't do it. You can't do it. So, but I thought it was just interesting. I love that nugget here. I like that Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, and Ryan Poles. And at the end of the day, they all three. I mean, Poles could have made a move if he wanted to, even if he wanted to ignore his coaches and go for somebody that he thought, the price was right, he could have. But at the end of the day, all three agreed, and they showed restraint. And so we'll see how it pays off. I think the Bears have enough here. Austin Booker's here. Hopefully Kyler Gordon comes back. And then Jaylon Johnson. There's an opportunity late December.
Yeah, he can be back.
I think you're playing Packers, Detroit at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Well, you said they held back. Watch out. We forgot to talk about the major blockbuster move they made in signing Joe. I think it's Tryon Shoyinka. I think. Sorry. So JTS. I just want to kind of give like a quick grade on. Look, this is a depth piece. This isn't anyone that's gonna, we're not going to be talking about, oh my gosh, what a trade they made by the end of the season. This is basically saying, hey, Dio. I mean, maybe, who knows? I'm not going to cap a ceiling, but Dio, Dio went out for the Achilles. He's out for the year. Dom Rob's been injured. We know this defensive line has had injuries throughout the season, so they needed a good depth piece to sign. I'm going to say, I'm giving it a C+ because why it's not worse or why it's not better. First off, he hasn't played that much this season. When he is on the field, though, he actually has a super high win success rate and pressure rate. So when he's on the field, he actually does a pretty good job, but it's a limited sample size over his career. So that tells you that, typically great players stay on the field a lot. So this is obviously not a great player. So that has to bring his grade down. But I will say, you slightly talked about it earlier. I think one of the main reasons as well is why Ryan Poles was conservative is the money. Ryan Poles has done a good job since he's been here about managing the cap and not mortgaging the future and being good with that. And I know the cap, you could say is a myth or whatnot, but it still impacts how much you can pay someone right now, unless you want to go through a whole bunch of restructuring, which could end up biting you in the ass years down the road. We only have $7 million in cap space. That makes us bottom 10 in the NFL, right? And that's because of some of the big moves we did this offseason. Joe Tooney extension, signing Jonah Jackson, extension to Kyler Gordon, extension to TJ Edwards, right? We had a bunch of extensions this offseason, which I think were good moves, but that brings your cap down. Next year's cap, we're in the negative. I don't think that will stay that way, but how contracts are looking, obviously we don't know predicted cuts and things like that. They're in the negative. So you can't go out there and make a big trade unless you're giving up a shitload of draft picks. And obviously, let's not do that. So I think they're almost saved by their own restrictions compared to the previous seasons where they were easily top 5 in cap space, even by the trade deadline. You can make a move like for Montez Sweat, right? And you could, and sign him an extension after making the trade. You couldn't do something like that this year. But overall, we don't need to spend too much time on this. I think we may see a sack or two from him, right? At the end of the back half, we'll take that. We'll get some good pressures, but overall, this isn't like a needle pusher. It's more of an in-depth rotational guy. But hey, maybe he ends up being, a crazy signing. Who knows? But his history would show that this is more of just like a rotational piece.
Yeah. How I see it is, and I'll keep it short because I agree. I think you said it perfectly. C+. I think it's really good. There's a possibility. I'm more excited about Austin Booker, right? And I think that JTS is more of a replacement for Dom Rob than Dio. Yeah. Austin Booker is Dio's replacement. Correct. It sucks. They wanted to be able to rotate these guys and maybe I think push Dio inside, kind of like as a defensive interior defensive lineman, and make some mismatch there because his run defense was good, like Ben Johnson mentioned. So I think JTS, if you look at it, he replaces Dom Rob, and then Austin replaces Dio. And and for me, Booker has a lot of upside. We saw it last week where one game he wrecked the drive turnover. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Of course, you want a little bit more consistency. I'm not sure. I think he had 3 total pressures. One was a big one with the turnover on Joe Flacco. So we'll see what he can do here against Jackson Dart. But that's how I like to look at it. And I think how you broke it down is perfect, Vic.
Yeah, look, I think it's good. We obviously know this is still the weakness of the team, so I'm not going to be mad about this type of signing. I think, let me see. Here's a comment here from Flex Diggs. He said taking a flyer on a former first rounder that wasn't getting a tick behind the best defensive end in the league is a good low risk bet. Yeah, that's exactly the last 3 words there. Good, low risk. That's fine. Okay. You didn't give up much for him. You're going to be okay. I mean, you did give up a 6, but got a 7th back. Is that right? So maybe
you needed another body, and this is a good opportunity here at low risk. I love that. So, let's go ahead. Before we get to our preview, let's go ahead and take our first break here. We'll be right back.
First off, thank you for watching the BFR Podcast, the #1 show for the fans by the fans. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe, as it just helps our show grow and helps the algorithm get this show out to other awesome, amazing Bear fans like y'all as we're trying to grow this community. If this is your first time, also leave a hashtag New Face Gang in the chat. That's hashtag New Face Gang in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time, this is your second time, you've watched over 100 episodes or anything in between, then you are a true OG, and we want to show you some love as well. So please leave a hashtag OG in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. Thank y'all for all the support for the #1 show for the fans by the fans, the BFR Podcast. Now let's get back to the show. Absolutely. Appreciate your guys' support. As always, we will give you shout outs. Make sure to get those comments in there. Hashtag OG, hashtag New Face Gang, and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show like we always do. All right. You ready for the game preview? Should be actually pretty fun. You ready for that, Dave?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with the injury report. Man. For the first time, I'm okay with it. Like, what? It's long, okay, because they put everyone on there. It's always like a book when we go through these. But really, the 3 main ones here, Josh Blackwell, he got concussed last week. He's going to be out. TJ Edwards, this is big. He had surgery on his hand. Ben Johnson confirmed this yesterday, I believe. And so they don't believe he's going to be put on IR. At least they're holding off on that.
I think it's more the hamstring, Fick.
It could be. Actually, he does have
because the hand, I think you could linebacker. You see him all the time. They'll put that cast on.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Cast.
So he's dealing with that. He had hand surgery,
hammy again,
and then he has a hammy. So, but good news. Ben Johnson said, well, he was asked, is he going to get put on IR? And they said, we don't think we're going to have to. So hopefully he'll be back. Dom Rob, he's out. We talked about that. Two of them on here. The only questionables left are DeAndre Swift, who is actually out for personal reasons. So, I'm not going to get into that and what that is, but hopefully he's ready to go. And then Durham Smythe, which would have been an issue if Cole Kmet wasn't shown here as full, but he is questionable as well. But look at this full list. I'm actually surprised. Luther Burden concussion. We've seen with this team in concussions, those guys are normally out a long time. He's back. Love that. Kevin Byard, he's back, even though he wasn't really out. Grady Jarrett just being old. He's good. Roshan's back. He'll probably get injured again because that's always what happens, but he's back at least. Cole Kmet being back from a concussion. These are the two that got me. Luther Burden and Cole being back after concussions. Man, I don't know if it's a new medical team or what, but being able to get back that quickly.
I think also it has to do with it's really their first. I don't think Cole's been concussed in the league. I think Luther he wasn't concussed all throughout college. And then obviously this is his first time. So I think that's where that quick turnaround where they trust the player a little bit more. If this was a brisker situation, that's why you could be held out a little bit longer. So
no, that's definitely fair. That's a great call out. This one's huge. Not that it was expecting that he was going to be on the list, but Kyle Monungai, obviously DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Joe Tooney's just old, so give him his rest. But Amon, I think Amon's actually going to play this week, which is great. We need bodies on this team. He's a great special teamer, so he is back. So, I mean, looking at that whole list, only
quick,
3 people really out.
You want to bring that up one more time, Fick? There was a late injury report addition last night. Jade Walker concussion has been added to the injury report and was ruled out. But overall, I think the Bears are just doing their very best to not get fined. They will put every single injury, even if they don't need to. I'll love it. So, and then Wednesday injury reports, I'm never going to react to those again. We're going to wait for Thursday and Friday moving forward. But
even Thursday,
I love it, man. It's long, but well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, even Thursday sometimes is too early. You know what I mean? It's like Fridays where I feel really comfortable. Yeah.
If you get 2 DMPs, though, back to back, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. You need at least a limited by Thursday, right? To feel. And
shout out to Joe Tooney. We don't talk about him enough, but that dude is just all pro. If he's not all pro again,
dude, it's a future Hall of Famer. So he's so good. This man's won 4 Super Bowls and he's graded out fantastic. Yeah.
I was watching the QB school. Shout out to him, JT. Great content. The best on probably YouTube as far as like quarterbacks, but I love him talking about Darnell Wright. And we've talked about how great he's playing, elite level, probably top 5 tackle in the league, right tackle. And the way that he talks about Darnell Wright is awesome. It just makes you smile.
The opposite, he talks about 85 probably.
Cole, oh my gosh. And he's not a fan of DJ, dude.
I love it.
Not a fan of DJ Moore. But yeah, shout out to JT. Check that out. Really, really great content.
Yeah, him and I'd say, who's the other one I liked? Wow, now I'm blanking as I'm about to think about it. It'll come to me. But
I know what you're talking about.
I love. Gosh, he's on YouTube as well. I love watching his stuff. But yeah, they do a great job from a quarterback perspective. Even Chase Daniels, every once in a while, I watch him too. So definitely, either way, I'd recommend this to all fans. Watch that stuff because you're going to learn so much about when you're watching the game live that it's going to make you a better football fan. So I always recommend
Tim Jenkins.
Tim Jenkins, thank you. Elite QB.
My guy, Tim.
Yep. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'd recommend watching that stuff because it makes you a better fan and just you understand the game more. Even if it's like, they have difference of opinions on certain things, them talking about concepts and what they expect is going to happen here and there makes you a better football player. No, it's a little off tangent, but I recommend everyone to check that out.
If they have a difference of opinion, understanding why they do and being open to understanding why they're seeing it that way. Correct. It just opens a new perspective. You still may not agree, but to understand, this is what he's looking for and why he agreed or why he's I guess dinging Caleb for this or he's on DJ Moore for this type of effort or route. It's very, very good stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Shout out to a little plug for them. But let's get to the Giants injury report. Not many big names on here, except obviously the name that's not on here is Cam Scatterbo. He's obviously out the season. We saw what happened to his ankle. You're not coming back from that this year. So he's definitely out. Then looking out, who's also out, you got Bo Collins, not a big name. Graham Gano, their kicker. Chancey Golston is a rotational defensive lineman. You got Masao, the linebacker, and then their starting center, John Michael Schmitz, is out. So that's going to be huge. Hopefully we can see the interior defensive line take advantage there. Then you got some doubtfuls. Victor here, I can't pronounce his last name, outside linebacker, and questionable. You have Javon Holland, who's their starting safety, and offensive tackle Jermaine Elamunor. So not many big names. They do have two. The big two ones are obviously Cam Scadaboo, Malik Neighbors, who's been out and will be out the whole season, and then John Michael Schmitz. So nothing too crazy. Again, shorter list than ours. Well, actually, this one's actually bigger than ours this time.
Yeah.
They got 5 guys out, but it's at least we're looking favorable from the injury standpoint, which we don't
talent-wise. I think the Bears, it's very one-sided.
Sure.
Speaking of one-sided, we have over 2,700 watching on across all platforms. If you're on YouTube, though, hit that like button for us. Super easy to do. Pause, scroll down a little bit, hit that thumb. You don't have to pause it. You just scroll down, hit it, come back up, watch us. Just a great free way to support the show. But what do we got for us next, Vic?
Yeah, we got the team overview, which should be fun. So let me get that up.
Favorable?
Oh,
it
yeah.
Should be. I feel like it should be.
Sure. Let's take a look.
Before Fit goes into this, he has a unique way of calculating the team overview. How he does it is he takes every single statistic from most sites, PFF, ESPN, puts it all into one little formula, and that's how you get these footballs. Is that right, Vic?
Yes, that is exactly spot on. Good job. So I will say this. Obviously, you can see we're the better team. I think most people would know that. We're 5-3. They're 2-6 for a reason, right? We've actually gained some more footballs from last week. We had 13. Now we have 15. Where those 2 footballs came from are basically our pass game and our rush game. And that's because obviously we ran for 180 plus against the Bengals. And the pass game also put up good numbers against that as well. Of course, it's the Bengals defense. You don't go against the Bengals defense every week. So we might lose some footballs this week. But overall, the offense has been humming. Defense has kind of been stand pat, right? We know our run defense is solid. Our pass defense is very bend or break. And our pass rush is obviously the weakness of this team. So nothing too crazy on that end. But when you're looking at our opponent, the Giants here, right? Passing's been okay. Rushing, they've done a pretty good job, especially Jackson Dart himself. Like, they run the ball well. And Jackson Dart uses his legs. And he's very, super underrated from his athletic ability. So we got to really watch out for him. Their blocking's been kind of meh. But here's the big kicker, right? I said we're not playing the Bengals defense, but we're not playing a defense that's far from it. This is a bottom 5 defense in the NFL. They have a top 5 defensive line, right? I mean, they have the sack leader on there. They've got Abdul Carter, who's a fucking menace. So they've got a good defensive line, but their secondary and their back 7, not so great. And also, their defensive line is good for pass rush, but it's not the best in the run defense. They actually have the worst run defense in the NFL. The worst, let me say again, the worst run defense in the NFL, 32 out of 32, and they're going against a top 10 rushing offense with the Chicago Bears. So that will be an interesting matchup to see how that works out. Hint, that is my key matchup coming up. But it's just it's favorable for us for the second week in a row. So, I mean, you would expect us to be able to win, but of course, this is all on paper. You still got to go on the field.
You play the teams on your schedule. I'm never going to apologize for this. And there is always an opportunity for the Bears to be the Bears and to somehow lose this game. But let's move forward. But before we do, let's take one more quick break, and then we're going to get to our predictions, bold predictions, and a few more things regarding this matchup.
All right, we're going to get back to the episode real quick, but I had to take a moment to pause and tell you about something awesome that we have cooking up over here at the BFR Podcast, and that is our Patreon membership. You can join our Patreon, the BFR Den, where we have a bunch of great exclusive stuff that happens monthly, like monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more to come. I mean, we've got tons of features in there. We've got 2 tiers. We have our top tier, which is $10 a month, our Hall of Fame tier. What comes with that, which is very exclusive, is our private Zoom calls with our members. So every month, you're going to get a private Zoom call with me, Dave, and Jack, and we just get to talk about whatever, shoot the shit, football, life. It's a wonderful time. And then if you want to go to the lower level, we have our Rookie Grizzly tier, which is $3 a month. And what that includes is like the private Discords, the monthly giveaways, the free merch, all the events if we have coming up, things like that, access to exclusive merch that's only for our Patreon members, and any other cool features. You'll get that at the $3 level tier. And then with the $10 level tier, you will get the private Zoom call as well. Now, you can join for free. We do post our monthly calendars in there, so you can kind of see what we have going on each month. And we post our episodes there as well. So if you want to join that ongoing community, which we keep building up, please do so at the BFR Den on Patreon. Also, as well, we give a shout out to all of our Patreon members every single episode that we do. So if you join, we'll make sure to show you some love on every episode as well. So again, you can join the BFR Den on Patreon at the BFR Den on Patreon. And we just love the support. You guys are great. Shout out to all our Patreon members, and let's get back to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick plug. Our Discord is growing at a rapid rate. If you want to join, you're on YouTube watching now. The link is in our description along with our Patreon. Just go ahead, click it, check it out. If you want to join, great. Go ahead and do so. Discord's free. I think you should do it. Game days are a lot of fun. Yes. Really, really good conversations in there. I know a lot of people love Twitter, but if you just want a little bit more relaxed, more personal, talking to Fick and I and everyone else that's in there, seriously check it out. That's all I'll say on that, but let's move forward here, Fick.
I want to say shout out to the Discord members, because on the trade deadline, the Discord was going great, like in a great way. Like it was so many great discussions in there. It was good stuff.
It's more, I feel like, because on Twitter or on any social media, you have so many voices. On Discord, sure, there's a lot of us in there, but it's just Bears fans. It's strictly Chicago Bears football. So check it out. It's really, really fun. I at least enjoy it. It's a little bit more of a nuanced conversation between all of us. So what we got next, Vic?
Yeah, let's get into Vegas odds here. If you're looking to win some money or lose some,
interesting stuff here.
But for the second week in a row, look who's favored. Chicago here, negative 4.5. Sorry, that should not have been 4.8. That's not Vegas odds, but negative 4.5, which is actually pretty good, especially if you're the home team. You get the +3, and then you get a plus another 1.5. So they definitely have us favored here. Over under, by the way, Dave, we called the over last week when we said it was 51.5. We said go ahead and run that over, and guess what? They almost had 100 points, it felt like, against the Bengals. So over under at 47.5, a little less than last week. And then the money line is obviously favoring Chicago. All right, so if I was betting here, I'm probably not going to do money line. You're not going to make much money there. Yeah, I think the Bears win by more than 4.5. I'd probably rock with the spread on this one. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not betting on a Bears game. Dave doesn't do it either.
Yeah.
Is there anything here that you're going to bet?
I would say the spread is a good one. Over and under is kind of, I think Jackson Dart is going to be able to move the ball on this defense. It's just, I mean, until they show us otherwise, I don't know. I was looking at the points against. So I was looking at the NFC North. Obviously, 5-2 Packers, or 5-2-1 Packers, 5-3 Lions, 5-3 Bears. Vikings are 4-4. But the points for Chicago has 215, but they've given up 227.
Okay.
The rest of the division, Green Bay's only given up 166 points, Lions 178, Vikings 186. Now that Detroit game where we got
mauled,
plays a part here. We're also giving up, a lot of points to the Bengals. And so for me, it's like there's that point against. It's a little scary where we've just given up a lot. That defense, sure. I just hopefully can get a little bit better, more competent, bring that average down. So I think that's why I'm like, man, you might want to bet the over on points here, because until otherwise, I don't think this Dennis Allen defense is going to be able to stop, because they're missing so much in that secondary. So
if that defense is a good point, if that defense wasn't leading the league in turnovers, we would easily be 2-6.
Yeah. But, and then CJ
with 3+ turnovers, it's crazy.
But I'll say this: the move at the deadline, Booker's back. CJ, was his first game. CJ Gardner-Johnson had a sack his first game. He also played. I think he played about 40% of the snaps. 39%. So he's going to get more. Yeah. And hopefully this defense can kind of just bring that, instead of being bottom tier, get me to like 22, 23 in the league. Yeah. I think we'll be a lot better there. So
that'll be huge. There's actually a question here on. Wait a second, where was that? Michael Barry, shout out to you, Patreon member, said, when is Jaylon due back? They didn't say when exactly, but it'd be the end.
If they're playing, I remember vividly. If the Bears are playing for something late in the year, and I think that would be classified as late December, where you have those final 2 or so games, I think we could see JJ coming back. If the Bears were not in the race for something, a wild card, Jalen's not coming back. No. So right now, you get to 6-3. There's a lot of possibility. There's a possibility the door opens where if you continue to win games and you have a chance, I think Jaylon can come in a limited fashion, or maybe he's just ready to go and he plays like 90% of the snaps in like a Green Bay matchup or a Detroit at the end of the year. We could see him, which would be I think even just an 80% or rusty Jaylon Johnson is still something, is who you want on this team. And I feel good about trotting him out there. I think.
I think so. They wouldn't put him out there if he's not ready, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, they'll trust his judgment. So
yeah, for sure. Oh, this is going too. We've talked about this. If they could, Asante Samuel, he's coming to visit. He's already visited the Packers. He's got a couple other teams on the list. He's visiting the Bears on Tuesday. Only problem with Asante Samuel. Shout to Mason West as well, because he's a PT. He does a pretty good job for injuries and whatnot. And he talked about, it is a very, very scary injury. Obviously, a lot of this meeting is looking through medicals and things like that. But if he's ready to go, it's not only the medicals you have to worry about, is again, which I mentioned, is our cap space. I think he's expected 8 to 10 million, even a 1-year deal. Maybe you can make it smaller with incentives in the back half. So it's like if you play a certain amount of snaps or you get a certain amount of whatever, then you'll get that money paid out. But again, we have some money. We don't have a lot of money. Bottom 10 for a reason. And that's not like a problem per se, right? A lot of good teams do have some, it's because they've spent money on good players. But it's there might be some teams that have a little bit more money, not a strap for cash for us, that might be able to give him a bigger deal. And money always helps in this league. So I'm just saying, if we do not get him, don't think that it's Ryan Poles didn't try to get him. There may be just certain levers we were not able to pull, and that happens. So. But that would be helpful if he's like a
sure. Oh, there's a real opportunity. I think the Bears win here. They're 6-3. They meet on Tuesday. He has the pick of the litter. I think Green Bay wants him. At the end of the day, it's just going to see who he wants to play for. And I think each of those teams are going to give him a good shot because if it works out, he's talented. So he's a ball hawk. He had 2 interceptions he had like first 4 years, he had 2, 4, and I think 2. And then last year he was hurt. And so we'll see.
He's a good player. Yep. So definitely worth, you got to at least kick the tires on it, but hopefully medical and then cash. It's always about that.
Sure.
All right, let's get to the key matchups here. Oh, whoops. I spoiled mine earlier, so that's my bad. But I have the Bears run game versus the Giants run defense, okay? Kyle Monangai, 6.8 yards per pop last game. I mean, the dude went off. Offensive line has been fantastic since the bye week. Ben Johnson talked about it, how he was hoping this, in the second quarter, they want to focus on getting their run game up, and they have. DeAndre Swift is probably more than likely back. We know Roshan's back. Let's see what this run game can do, and I'm saying this again. The 32nd worst run defense in the NFL. And I will say this, though. The Bears have actually shown up when they played the bad defenses. Dallas, Bengals, hopefully Giants. When it's bad, they play well against it. And I'm hoping that we see that continue. They have not flopped yet against like a bad defensive team. Now, they may have done the reverse where they're not going against a great offense like the Raiders, and the Bears defense was better and, they almost lost that game. But when it comes to the offense versus the defense, what Ben Johnson controls, they've basically manhandled the guys in the bottom 5. So I'm hoping they can do the same here. And I actually feel confident that they can. Majority because of that run game. It has been so effective since the bye week, and it just opens up so much for your quarterback and just makes the offense easier. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I was upset when Kyle Monangai last run of the game, he only got 1 yard, and it tanked his yards per carry because he was over 7, and then it dropped to 6.8. So I was like, I was excited to tweet over 7 yards per carry from Monangai last week on 26 carries or 27, I think. So, we'll see if Swift, hopefully everything's good with him and his family, the personal issue. But it'd be nice to have that 1-2 punch. Roshan is coming back as well. Shout out to Kyle Monangai and pass pro, too. I think he's actually underrated in that aspect. Much better, especially for 5'9", 5'8". Awesome Crazy. Player. So,
by the way, I want to say this one thing. I did see they were looking at like EPA for running backs, right? Expected points added, which basically means kind of like how well are your running backs doing from an efficiency standpoint for everyone watching. Yeah. But they were looking at basically inside the tackle runs versus outside the tackle runs. Outside the tackle runs, DeAndre Swift is like right up there with Gibbs. And then inside the tackle runs, Kyle Monangai was like right there with Monty. So it's funny, right? I'm not saying they are as good as those guys, but it is funny from an efficiency standpoint. You kind of got your Sonic and Knuckles, private label version. You got your Sonic and Knuckles light.
Pretty good outside too.
He did look good last week. He did. But we know Swift is like much better outside. We've seen what
very dynamic. He'll score a touchdown. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So just interesting to see what Ben Johnson's brought here. Okay, let's get to your matchup here.
Bears defense, Jackson Dart. Similar to last week against Joe Flacco. I think they just got to slow him down, get a turnover or two like they did with Austin Booker and that strip sack or the sack that caused the fumble. I think they need to get him uncomfortable, and they just need to be able to just slow him down a little bit. Joe Flacco, I don't even know if we slowed him down. I know we got that turnover, but the guy dropped 40 on us. So if Jackson Dart does that, there's a huge concern. He's a rookie quarterback. I understand he's playing well, and but he needs to not play well. He needs to have at least a quarter here where it's like maybe the Bears defense can pull things around. And last week, I forget, Bears even got interceptions on Joe Flacco too, and the fumble, and it still was close. So, and that's because of the debacle at the end where they really they had the game in the bag, and we know how that kind of played out. So let's not do that this week. Simple as that.
Please not. Yeah, please not. Yeah. I totally agree with you on that. He's a rookie quarterback. Hopefully he plays like one. He's been playing really well, though. So shout out to Jackson Dart. But hopefully this is the game where it kind of looks like, oh, this is a rookie quarterback, guys. Like, welcome to the NFL moment. And now some of that will have to do to the key matchups here. So let's go into mine here. Keys to the game. Oh, sorry, not key matchups. Act like I know what I'm doing on the show. But keys to the game. Run the ball. I don't need to. I've been saying it ad nauseum, but if you do that, you'll win the game easily. Second thing here, keep a clean pocket for Caleb because that defensive line is nasty. Brian Burns, I think, it leads the league in sacks with 11 sacks already. 11 sacks halfway through the season is fucking crazy. I'm sorry. That double-digit sacks through 8 games is wild. He has been a menace. He's always been a menace. That's why they traded for him, and it's paid off for the Giants. But not only that, you got Kayvon, who's been pretty well. You got Dexter Lawrence, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And then you have Abdul Carter, which may not have the sack numbers as much as a rookie, but actually his sack numbers aren't bad. But his pressure numbers, no one's even close to him as a rookie. I think he leads the NFL rookie pressure numbers with like 20 or something like that. And the closest guy is like 7. This dude is going nuts. He's forced fumbles. All in all, that defensive line is nasty. You got to keep them locked in. And then this one's kind of interesting. When I was looking at the data, the Giants run man coverage 45% of the time, which is top 5 in the NFL. In man coverage, it's very favorable for the quarterback if the quarterback is mobile. Why? Because in man coverage, a lot of times the corners and the secondaries turn their backs to follow their guys, right? They're not in a zone watching eyes of the quarterback. When that happens, and a quarterback can notice, your rushing lanes are great. So if your pressure is not, if the pocket isn't collapsing, there's a lot of great opportunity for Caleb Williams to run. And we've seen this man can run when he decides to do so, or at least create more opportunity down the field. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more. It doesn't have to be designated runs, but that look's not there. You see a gap, take off, right? Take off. You're going to get 7, 8, 9 easily a pop just because of the man covers that they're in. So definitely something to watch for. We'll see if they run as much against, Caleb, because he is mobile and he does pretty well against man, but just definitely, I think they could really take advantage of it. And then it goes into that run game, right? Defense is tired. If you're just running it down their throats and then even in pass plays, you're able to run, they're not going to be able to stop you. So I'm kind of excited and interesting to see how Ben Johnson plays that in against this man defense.
It's good stuff. I would say, my keys here, again, I said it earlier, touchdown, make Dart uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that's always important. Just don't let him get too, don't allow him to have, all the time back there to kind of pick apart that Bears secondary. Looking at Austin Booker, Montez Sweat to have an impact here or two, even Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett. Secondly, don't turn the ball over. This is more for Caleb, a fumble, right? Manungai, I'm not trying to, speak into existence, but just take care of the football. And then here, I think the Bears are really, really good on offense when they just do not shoot themselves in the foot. So play a clean game, no false starts. You're at home. I know there's going to be, a lot of excitement, the hype, but I think the Bears will win this one pretty easily if they just keep it clean on really both sides of the ball.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. Please make Dart uncomfortable. This man cannot go off against us. I'm just gonna. That'd be such a Bears fashion. You know what I mean? He has his breakout game against us, but I think we'll figure some things out. I'm putting trust in Dennis Allen. Okay, things I'm not putting trust in though. My bold takes. My God, bro, just a losing streak. This is ass. Bold takes here though. Dave, you got yours. So shout to you. You're 3-5. Took the lead there.
That's big time.
Over here,
Dude.
2-6.
You kidding me?
They're so hard to come by. And the Jags 0-2. So not looking great over here for mine. And first off, before I go to that, Dave, the one that you got right was the 100 yards Monangai. That was done in the first half. Okay. Mine was 350 all-purpose yards by Caleb, and he ended up getting 333 or something like that. So I was off by 17 yards, but definitely tough. This one, though, this would be crazy.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games of 150-plus rushing yards. That's hard to do in the NFL. This, again, one of the worst defenses. I want to see this happen. Even if I don't get the bull take, like, this is what I want to see happen because I think that's going to be the easiest way to victory. So I'm having 150-plus total rush yards for the Bears. And actually, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that one. Let's get to yours here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to get mine. I think we do a really good job at being bold. We're not taking the easy ones. We try to make it actually bold. So for our records, when we get one, it feels good, right? It feels like you earned it. So Rome Odunze, 2 touchdowns, 2+ touchdowns next week. Or I'm sorry, tomorrow. That's what I have. A bounce back game. He should have had one last week against the Bengals. Dropped it. Ball was tipped, whatever it might have been. I think we get a little bit more of a bounce back here from Rome, where he is just typically he had 5 games in a row, 5-game streak of scoring a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. So, we'll see what he can do here. That's my bold.
Can I change my bold take? No. 0 tweets from his father this week. Just kidding. That's a bold take, huh? So, no.
He had a good
he did. I was going to say, shout out to how he responded. So,
yeah, he did.
Yeah, good. And look, and to be fair, Rome, because we know you're watching Bears Film Room, the more show for the fans, by the fans. Us Bear fans love you. Just want to put that out there. Look, you have drops, players have mistakes, but like I have full faith in you, and I know Dave does as well. You're a really good player. Also, I saw a tweet last night. Chad Ochocinco's like, give me 3 weeks of Rome Odunze this offseason. We'll take off. So, Rome, I would take that offer up. Chad Ochocinco was a dog, and learning from legends like that can't hurt. So,
I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, his size and frame and his, Rome is good. Great route runner too. So I'm excited to see what he does. Mm-hmm. I kind of want yours to happen more because that's going to be more exciting. But I think the easiest way to victory is probably the run game. But maybe we get both. Right. That'd be great. Okay, let's get to the final portion here. Before we do so, we're going to get to our final ad read here. Obviously, we do our shout outs, close the show like we always do. But let's get to the final ad readout before we give our final score predictions and headlines. All right, before we close out the show, I got to tell you about some awesome stuff that we have cooked up on the BFRstore.com. As you can see here, we have hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers, a whole bunch of fire stuff, and we're always working on new creative designs, maybe jerseys coming. Yeah, who knows? But you can check it all out at thebfrstore.com. All the proceeds from the merch store just goes back right into the show. And plus, we want to give you fire stuff because we want to look fly all the time. And we want y'all to look fly as well. So if you want to support the BFR show, go to the BFRstore.com. We appreciate all the love and support. Now let's get back to the show. Also, shout out to Gage. Saw you put in a purchase last night. We really do appreciate it. Look, anytime you guys decide to support us in any sort of way, you're going to get the love. Do appreciate that. I know Dave's got one of the new jerseys coming in. I'm putting in my order as well because it's starting to get cold here.
Hoodie.
Should be exciting. Yeah, hoodie, jersey, Jesus.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know I got a
No.
Yeah.
It's because I've been.
That hoodie's coming. I'm excited.
Yeah, hoodie's fun. I've been trying to work on some jersey stuff in the background, so some fun stuff. But yes, the hoodies, especially starting to get cold. Like you said, it might be snowing in Chicago. Definitely go to the BFRstore.com. And if you want to support us, feel free. Or if you just want to look fly as hell, do that as well. So appreciate all the support as always. Okay, let's get to the final portion here. Dave, score predictions, what everybody's been waiting for. What we got. But first, let's see where we're at in the record predictions. We both nailed it last week. We both got a win there because we expected the Bears to win. You're at 4-4, back at 500. That always looks great. I'm 5-3, exactly matched up with the Bears. Hopefully I can keep that continuing here. But going to me, drum roll, 27 to 17. I think the Bears can win this game. I said take the money line of 4.5 if you're a psycho and you want to bet on this. I think the Bears can win single-handedly. They are the better team. So unless they shoot themselves in the foot, that's the way they'll lose this game. Otherwise, I think they're going to come away with the victory. Now, Dave, what about you?
Yep, I think the Bears dropped 30+ in back-to-back games.
Love it.
33-27, closer than you think. So we'll see. We'll see. This is my prediction. And like I said, I'm excited to be 4-4 on the season. Back to 500 football, trying to catch you. So
in the hunt.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. No, there's a lot of football left. A lot of football.
We did get a super chat here from Bear Down Ken.
Yeah, where's that at? Sorry. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Bear Down Ken on YouTube. Thank you, Bear Down Ken, or thank you, Ken. $1.99 on YouTube. Super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Bold take. Is it CJ? Oh, I can't ever say it. CGJ. Christian Gardner Johnson.
GJ. He wants to be called CD, believe it or not.
Really? Okay. Well, that's much easier to say. I wouldn't mind saying that. But gets his first pick with the Bears. I love it. If you're going to do it against a rookie quarterback, some, disguised coverage that he's not aware of, I could see it happening. That'd be awesome. Good stuff, Bear Down Camp. We appreciate the super chat. And again, you guys don't have to do that. We appreciate it. Just all that money and donations go.
No, you have
to make it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
keep it going. Are you kidding me?
We'll take it. Yeah,
we'll take it, Ken.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, let's get to the Monday headlines here. Let's see what we got. All right, we both went a little punny this week, and that's okay. But I said small win, but giant loss. That's right. And why I say that is because this loss will actually mean way more to the Giants because they'll be 2-8. And I think Brian Daboll has been 3 seasons of starting 2-6 or something like that. Or they'll be 2-7, I believe. So it will not be great from a New York standpoint. But for us, this is a team we should beat. I'm not walking away from this being like, Super Bowl contenders. No, right? This is the Giants. If we win, it'll feel good, obviously. But if we lose, it would feel worse. So go out there, do what you need to do. You're the better team. Let's go get a dub, and let's get ready for this tougher back half of the season. So, Dave, what's yours?
Yeah, throwing darts. This is I think Caleb's just going to have another big game, maybe 3-4 touchdowns is what I'm hoping for. And, of course, just using Jackson Dart's last name here for a little fun on the headline. So, I don't know. I like this one. It's one of my favorites of the year so far as
it's a good one.
My headlines for Monday. So
yeah, I always like when we can get a little bit of a pun, a little theme.
Oh, yeah. Got to.
You got to. Absolutely. Okay, perfect. Let's go through here real quick and let's see. Yeah. Let's do our shout outs. I know we got some quick questions. So give me a second while I kind of look through and make sure we got everything. Also send in your game predictions as well, your score predictions. We'd love to know, or a bold take, anything like that. We'll make sure to share those as well. Okay, let's go through. Okay, so we got Michael Berry, Patreon member. Shout out to you, Michael. Great seeing you on the last Patreon call last week. Said Bears got to follow the Bulls lead and beat New York tomorrow. I know that's a dig to me, but New York ended up winning on Sunday, 1-1. But yeah, Bulls look good. So hopefully we beat New York. That would be great. Devin McGovern here with the hashtag OG Bear Down. Thank you, Devin. Swanky here on YouTube said, what did Ben prevent polls from doing? Basically, we talked about this earlier in the show. If you want to go in the full details, start back like the first 15 minutes. But basically, he made sure polls was a little bit more conservative and looking big picture, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jam on YouTube. Love that name. Hashtag OG. Thank you, Jimmy. We answered this one, Michael, but when is Jaylon due back? Probably the end of the season. In peril here on YouTube. Hashtag OG. Cardiac Bears and cardiac Bulls won't be good for your health. No, but they're both winning. So I'll take cardiac anything if the team is winning, right? It's always ass when it's cardiac and then they lose. Like the heartbreakers are the tough ones. Kyler Villagomez with the hashtag OG. Thank you, Kyler. Question here from David Pop, 4213 on YouTube said, who would the kicker be? I'm assuming Santos. I'm assuming Santos.
For this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, Santos. Unless, I mean, he's not even on the injury report. So
yeah, so I would assume Santos.
He's a captain, guys. I know we all joke and like I'm almost want Moody too, but it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I would love to see him though. Maybe we don't have to get in position for field goals, but if he just makes a 50-yarder again, maybe it'll kind of calm down the masses. But yeah, that miss last week did not help. Okay, we got Caleb here. who is a Patreon member as well. Shout out to you, Caleb, with the hashtag OG. Appreciate that. And then we got a couple bold takes here. We got Flex Diggs on YouTube. Said Bears get 3 takeaways. They've done it multiple times, so definitely not far-fetched. We got JW Bogger here on YouTube with Bears 38, the G-Men 17. 38 points. Back-to-back almost 40-point games would be fantastic. And then King Book of World, who's also OGSU in here all the time. Bold take Darnold right gets the touchdown. That's great. Ben Johnson was actually talking about it on First Things First when they interviewed him. So he's like, yeah, Darnold Wright's catching it like a wide receiver out there. So interesting stuff. We'll see what happens there. And then we got Z-Wit here with a hashtag Bear Down. And then Thomas Whitty, also our Patreon member, with a hashtag OG and Bear Down. And speaking of our Patreon members, got to show love like always. If you want to get love on every episode, you can join the Patreon. Links in the description. Free tier, $3 tier, which is super cheap. At a $10 tier. $10 tier unlocks the private Zoom calls with Dave and I, which we had last week, which was awesome. We had a packed house and there were like 10 or so people, so it was fantastic. All right, let's get to our Patrons, though. We got our Hall of Fame Grizzlies. Shout out to Michael from across the pond. Gage, shout out to you for buying the merch, and also shout out to you just for being the first Patreon member, the OG of the OG. Shout out to Phil as well. Michael Berry in the chat. Appreciate you, Michael, doing your thing as always. Shout out to Angie. Shout out to Daniel Jones across the pond. Shout out to Thomas, who's in the chat as well. Appreciate you. Shout out to Tito, and then also shout out to Dave. And then we can't forget about our rookie Grizzlies as well. Shout out to Alex, who's probably lifting right now. Chris as well. Ethan. Caleb, who was just in the chat. Thank you for the hashtag OG. Jason, and then our newest member, Megan McCallie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to all of y'all. Okay, final couple plugs here. Join the Discord. It's free. We have a competition, which we give a shout out to for every show, of weekly predictions. You just give your score. The closest one wins free money to our BFR store, and you get a shout out on all of our shows. Also, you can join the Patreon, like I mentioned. And if you want to support us through the merch, it's starting to get cold. We got hats. We got mugs. Angie Wright, our Patreon member, just one of our mugs, the first one to ever get the mug. So that's going to be cool. Hopefully she enjoys that. But whole bunch of giveaways and stuff that we do consistently on this show, because we want to give the fans, we want to give y'all, the fans, the credit you deserve. Because again, this is Bears Film Room, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, and it'll always be that way. So we appreciate all of you. And then also make sure to follow Dave and I on Twitter. Dave just gave away some tickets to the Giants game. So I gave away jerseys as well. Dave gives away jerseys as well. So just follow us. Stay tuned. Because basically my point here is that we give away a lot of free shit. We appreciate you guys being support here. So we want to make sure we're always giving back to you. Because again, it's the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. So make sure you support, follow, like, subscribe, everything or anything in between. We really do appreciate it. Okay. Dave, any final thoughts?
No. Crazy though. Those tickets, almost like $300 a pop. And that's for a Giants game. I know it's in Chicago. They, shout out to Derek, I think it's DATHEBA15 on Twitter. His name's Derek. Really cool guy. Lives about a couple hours away from Soldier. Had a good conversation with him. Cool, He's going to enjoy the game. It's going to be cold. But hopefully we get a Bears win. So I appreciate everyone that supported. I'm not going to go ahead and kind of repeat what Ficky said, but I'm going to echo it. You guys have been amazing. We're almost at 11,000 subscribers, and it feels like just a couple weeks ago we hit 10K. So appreciate the support. Hope you guys enjoy the conversation. We love these Saturday morning pods, and I know we've gotten so much good feedback about you guys enjoying it too. So again, shout out to you guys. Appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow right after the game like always. So if you can, before you get out of here, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.